Something which isn't so sweet, actually, is, costs and expenses are going up this year. Yes, there's inflation, and yes, there's, of course, increased interest rates, and, not only individuals, but organisations needing to deal with that. In amongst it all, insurance rates seem to have gone up with a significant whack. And anybody who's a homeowner in particular or and needs to get insurance for business purposes will have recognised that. That also, of course, impacts churches as well. Joining us on the program now, senior lender from Christian Savings, Andy Milne. Andy, kia ora, good morning. Thanks for your time today.
Kia ora, Andrew. Great to be with you.
I mean, this is a bit of a body blow for churches. They're balancing various things in terms of income for a lot of churches. It's mostly from donations from people who are also going through difficult financial times. Add to that the fact that if a church has got a loan against their property, then making sure that they're fully insured is likely to be one of the conditions of having that mortgage in the first place. It's a real rock and a hard place situation, isn't it?
Well, that's right, Andrew. And look, I'd start by saying, look, it's really important for churches and charities to consider their insurance needs, whether or not they have debt. But that said, look, we're noticing out in the market and with our clients, but just churches and charities in general, we've seen some phenomenal increases in the cost of insurance over the last 18 months to 2 years. It's not uncommon to see premiums rise by, we're talking over 100% increase year on year.
Yeah.
So, and look, there are a number of factors that are playing into that. The government levies in terms of EQC and other things are playing into that, but just the costs of not just covering for earthquakes, but floods and extreme weather events. So I've heard it said floods are the new earthquakes in New Zealand now. So a lot of reasons why costs have gone up, and as you say, with churches where income can be a struggle. It really is something that churches are grappling with right now.
And of course, these new rates are based on averages. That's the way. It's the law of averages is how insurance works. So even if you're not in an earthquake or flood-prone area, your rates are likely to go up anyway. And it's not as if you can shop around on this one. It's pretty much across the board. These rate hikes within the industry.
That's right. We're seeing that these are common things. Whoever your insurance are, these are it's an industry-wide issue that the costs of insurance are going up. So we're seeing churches respond in a number of different ways. It really is a challenge, at a governance level for churches, really having to grapple with the levels of cover that they have and what they need. And, for a typical church, it might be in quite an old, maybe even a heritage building. Yeah. One thing they're considering, that they've had like-for-like insurance. Do they need like-for-like insurance that's going to provide that, that really beautiful ornate church, or could they, downsize the insurance cover to a more utilitarian replacement? So still going with full replacement, but not quite on the same basis.
So
a number of
possibly just reducing the amount of insurance cover that you've got. How does that impact, I suppose, mortgage cover in that regard? Because the mortgage provider, they have security on a specific building on a specific piece of land. Does that get a little bit sticky?
It absolutely does, and you're right that when you're considering your options, especially if you have debt, I think just to take a step back, Andrew, I think it's really important that your first conversation when considering different options is to have with your church membership, because obviously there is a huge emotional connection for most church members with their building, and just because something makes financial sense. Doesn't necessarily, that's not the only consideration. So taking the church members along, just because the elders agree, doesn't mean it's necessarily the right path. So getting those members to on board right from the start. But yes, it's absolutely critical that you involve your lender in these discussions, because as you say, lenders have made decisions based on the property's value. and will want to ensure not just that that their interest is covered, but also the lender is going to be strongly motivated to see that the church membership is provided for in the long term as well. So you're really critical to make sure that your lender is along on that journey and is happy with the level of cover and what the replacement strategy might be.
It is, it sticks in your throat a little bit when your insurance costs are higher than what's going into the mission fund in terms of building the kingdom of God. I mean, it is counterintuitive, but actually there is principles of law and governance involved with this in order to be making sure that they're looking after the assets, yes, on behalf of the congregation, but on behalf of the bank that's loaned them the money to have the building in the first place. We've got to be on the right side of the law on this one.
You're absolutely right, and I think really critical that governance piece. It is about making prudent decisions for not just for now. Not what's just financially expedient in the current season. Gosh, our insurance premiums have gone up, so look, let's go back to an indemnity only value, and the equivalent of sort of third party fire and theft on your church building. Doesn't not always the most prudent decision for the long term. So those questions around prudent financial governance really critical. Just on that issue of governance, if you're in the Wellington or Lower North Island region, there are still tickets available to Christian Savings Governance Conference. So some incredibly practical, pragmatic lessons for governance. Wellington Wednesday next week.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the Wellington region, have a look at our website, christiansavings.co.nz. If governance is an issue in your church, you want to learn more, we'd love to have you along and be able to support your church or your charity in that area.
Now, we've been hearing very good things from the governance conference around the Motu and Hey happening in Wellington coming up next Wednesday. christiansavings.co.nz, the place to go for all the details on that one. Andy, thanks for what you do. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Andrew. My pleasure.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.